Good morning, I'm Emily Bennett. Today is Saturday, July 11th. Now, new this morning, a man now faces murder charges after the victim of an assault he was charged with died. Jesse L. Couch was arrested for attempted murder back in June and sent to the Kentucky River Regional Jail. Police say Couch assaulted Robert Beaver, who was found incoherent but still breathing before being airlifted to UK Medical Center. The Hazard Police Department reported Friday that Beaver died due to his injuries. The original charge of attempted murder has now been upgraded to murder. Now, rural communities may not see the same number of COVID-19 cases as larger cities, but leaders say they are still put in a tough place. A reason in Rowan County, the judge executive says it is time for the public to step up and help by wearing masks. Nick Oliver has the story.
If we have learned one thing through this pandemic, the virus does not stop at county lines. It's that reason Rowan County Judge Executive Harry Clark says the community needs to see masks on more faces.
You know, you're a big beefy fella or gal, not worried about it. That's fine, but the grandma sitting next to you probably is. So, you know, you're really doing it for her.
The judge says with Rowan County being in the spot that it is, it makes it even more essential that everybody gets on board with this mandate.
What we do to protect ourselves and we actually protect the region. We have the shopping here, so the Menifee, the Morgan, the Elliott, they all come here for their shopping. So it's very important for us to be able to control that spread.
The judge executive says the county sees a lot of visitors from Cave Run, Morehead State University, and the countless others that commute for jobs. Rowan County has seen just over 30 cases, but in the midst of summer, he says a mask could stop or at least slow the virus from gaining traction here.
Everybody's going on vacation. I don't care if you live in Menifee, Morgan, or where, you're going on vacation, you're coming back, and you'll end up coming to Rowan County to do the shopping. So it's very important that we control this just like a big city does. We need to keep this.
The judge says enforcement will be left to the local health department, but will have the county's support through and through. In Rowan County, Nick Oliver, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, judge executives across the state joined Governor Andy Beshear on a phone call yesterday morning to again discuss the mandate. Now, meanwhile, Attorney General Daniel Cameron is asking a judge to review whether or not Governor Beshear's mandate on masks is legal. Cameron cited a temporary restraining order barring enforcement of Governor Beshear's previous executive orders, which bypassed the General Assembly. In a statement released yesterday, Cameron says, quote, "The request we are making to the court today is not about whether or not it is appropriate to wear a mask. It is my belief that masks are an important tool in fighting this pandemic. It is, however, about determining if the governor's executive order mandating mask use follows state law," unquote. Now, Kentucky's traffic safety prosecutors are pivoting with the times to offer virtual training for law enforcement and prosecutors. Due to COVID-19, the TSRP transitioned to a virtual form where the tip of the day videos are released weekly. The video topics include canines at traffic stops, case law regarding pursuits, and when you can seize electronic devices during a traffic stop. KSP troopers and officers can now view the training videos from their laptop, electronic device, or phone. University of Kentucky president announced that they will cap tuition and mandatory fees for full-time students this fall. The new action will take place regardless of how many in-person or online classes a student takes. For many students, the result will be a reduction in tuition of several hundred, if not thousands of dollars. The university president says that the tuition prices reflect fairness, consistency, and commitment to access and affordability. The surge in COVID-19 cases in Kentucky continues. There are more than 400 new cases in the state as of yesterday. We are now at 18,670 confirmed cases here in Kentucky. 8 new deaths were reported on Friday. 620 Kentuckians have now died from COVID-19. The 426 new cases yesterday are the second most reported in a single day since the beginning of the pandemic. Laurel County topped 200 cases yesterday, and Knox County topped 100. Now let's check in with meteorologist Brooke Marshall for a look at your forecast this morning. Brooke?
Thanks, Emily. Well, this morning's pretty good, but we are seeing a little bit of patchy fog out there. If you take a look behind me at one of our cameras, you can see into downtown Whitesburg. Well, you can't really see into downtown Whitesburg because that fog is so thick down there. So just be careful if you are headed out early this morning, because you could run into some visibility issues in certain areas. But other than that, the good news is we have been seeing very dry conditions today. The past couple of hours, we have been seeing those dry conditions, and we're only going to continue to see those as we go throughout the morning hours today, and temperatures nice and comfortable, anywhere from those mid 60s to those lower 70s right now. So already off to a great start, and we're actually going to be cooler all day today. We're only going to get to those mid 80s. So last week we got into those lower 90s a couple of days. We aren't going to quite get that hot today, so it's still going to be nice. You'll be able to get outside and enjoy the weather, but it'll be just a little bit cooler than last week. Emily?
Thank you, Brooke. Good to see some cooler temperatures. Now, with the extreme heat we have been seeing lately, one Magoffin County principal was worried about some of his students. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more on how that worry quickly became a movement.
Some students across the region are having a hard time beating the heat.
One little kid said that he was taking a wet rag and waiting to step down and try to go to sleep overnight. And I said, dear God, we got to do something, and then it spurred the movement.
So some of their biggest fans are working to make sure they have access to,
look at the fans, girl.
well, fans.
You go up some of these places and, some hollers and stuff, and it's people that they're just sitting outside with the doors open and windows open trying to get some relief.
Paul Montgomery made a Facebook post detailing his plans to help keep the kids of Magoffin County cool. And within hours, he was fielding donations.
We've had donations from Ohio, Nebraska. Some guy from Nebraska called the local hardware store up here at True Value and bought every fan he had and put it on his credit card.
The project has now raised more than $6,000 and provided nearly 500 cooling units to families in the community. But Magoffin County is not the only place catching the breeze.
Well, we had seen Mr. Montgomery's post, and we knew that there was probably a need here in Floyd County for this too. So Sharon and I decided to start help Floyd County kids.
More communities are starting to create similar projects to help kids stay cool for the summer.
It's been phenomenal. It's overwhelming. It's been overwhelming. It gives you faith in humanity. It really does.
Circulating kindness and a little cool air. In Magoffin County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, fans or money can be donated in Magoffin County by contacting Montgomery. Floyd County fans are being accepted at Wildfire Designs and Prestonsburg City Hall. They are also accepting monetary donations. Now, Governor Andy Beshear announced the approval of a $2.4 million loan to the city of Pineville yesterday. City planners will use the funding to separate the existing storm and sanitary sewer systems. Governor Beshear said, quote, every city and county in Kentucky should have reliable wastewater and sewer systems, end quote. The Department for Local Government Commissioner said that the service will help more than 1,000 Kentuckians. Now, Fayette Mall says it will enforce the governor's mask order. A spokesperson for the mall in Lexington says security staff will monitor common areas. They are expecting stores to enforce mask wearing as well. Fayette Mall says security will also have a limited number of masks to give to shoppers that need one. Now, yesterday we learned that human remains and a burnout car were found in Pike County. Police officials tell WYMT the car belonged to the father of missing Pike County man Wesley Hook. Police were not able to identify the remains. They are being sent to a forensic lab in Frankfort for testing, which could take several weeks. Police say foul play is suspected. Now, Laurel County is one of the counties in our coverage area that has been hit hard with COVID-19 cases. The county has more than 200 cases, and 130 of those cases are still active. We spoke with Laurel County Health Department's Executive Director Mark Hensley about Kentucky's mask mandate. Hensley says this mandate was anticipated as cases began to spike.
I do hope that we start seeing a decrease in cases. And hopefully this new mandate will help. And not only wearing a mask, but doing those other guidelines the CDC has been saying all along is washing your hands, having that good hygiene, keeping social distance, and wearing a mask. Just when you leave your home each and every day, just be smart about it.
Hensley says the health department will help local businesses enforce the mandate by giving them helpful information on how to suggest their customers wear masks. In Johnson County, the sheriff's office is investigating an attempted burglary. Deputies posted these surveillance pictures on Facebook. Investigators say someone parked behind the hair cutters on US 23 in the Nippa community back on June 24th. They say the suspect tried to get in the door but was not able to. Deputies say that suspect then threw a rock through the front glass door but ran back to their car and took off. Deputies are asking anyone with information about the suspect to give them a call. Now, one of Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital's first COVID unit patients is now virus-free and heading home. Gary Abbott, a former coach and school superintendent from Wayne County, spent 115 days in the hospital. Grace Finerman shows us the moment he left the hospital.
Gary Abbott's victory lap with balloons, signs, matching t-shirts, and of course, applause. All after a 115-day battle with COVID-19.
He's COVID-free. Yay!
Gary's wife, Regina, says after 25 days on a ventilator, no one thought Gary would live, except his family.
There was no giving up for me, so I pushed them. And she just told me a minute ago that, after talking to me, they decided, to push on.
Gary was one of the first patients at Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital's COVID unit. He had to have all fingers and toes amputated. But Chief Nursing Officer Pam Booker says slowly he made progress.
Communication between the staff, physicians, and the family, so that was very important to his healing, actually, because he asked a lot about them.
After his fight, Regina says Gary's excited for the simple things.
To drive his truck, mow the yard, and weed eat. He loves to do that stuff.
What doctors call a miracle will hopefully inspire us all. In Somerset, Grace Finerman, WKYT.
Now Regina says Gary will get prosthetics for hands. He says he's excited to be heading home. Now coming up on Mountain News this morning, how a Western Kentucky winery is using a federal grant to carry out the state's history of energy production.
And if you're trying to make plans for this weekend, well, today is looking a lot better than tomorrow. I'll have your full forecast coming up.